Friday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Garden State Weather and gardenstateweather.blogspot.com, your source for weather information for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith with the video forecast analysis discussion for this last Friday of January 31st, 2014. Morning regional surface analysis. Surface map across the region this morning shows some mid and high level clouds across the region. Some areas are clear, other areas have more cloud cover across the eastern New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, portions of the lower Hudson Valley, also portions of southeastern Pennsylvania, central and southern New Jersey as well. Currently, temperatures this morning are generally running in the low to the mid 20s northwest, mid to upper 20s in the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area, mid and upper 20s out on Long Island, and down into the low to the mid 20s, basically from Philadelphia south through the Delmarva Peninsula. Where skies are clear, temperatures are a little cooler this morning. At Wildwood, they're 12, and this is at 6 a.m. this morning. Also, other temperatures are generally in the teens where skies are clear, and they're running in the low to the mid 20s where there's more cloud cover overhead. All the winds are generally light from the southwest. High pressure is in control of our region, but there is a plume of moisture which stretches all the way from the east coast all the way into the Pacific, and this will make for a mostly cloudy day throughout the region today, but most of the precipitation will be out over the ocean with a weak wave of low pressure, and subsidence in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere will mean a dry forecast for today, albeit a little bit more cloudier than anticipated earlier. Current visible satellite imagery this morning shows the plethora of mid and high level clouds across the region. Some areas are clear, other areas have a little bit more cloud cover. Most of the stations are reporting this. We can see a little bit of lift here in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere and also back towards our west with subsidence in between. That means a relatively dry forecast for today. The radar is showing some precipitation echoes lining up from just around where the boundary is. Across the northern Ohio River here into Pennsylvania, and then offshore we have a weak wave of low pressure offshore the mid-Atlantic coast states, New Jersey, New York waters. It's not really going to affect us today, and most of this precipitation is not reaching the ground. It's virga. Things are quiet here on the coastal waters and basically the inland locations too. No watches, warnings, or advisories. We do have quite a bit of ice though on the outer edges here along the New Jersey coast and even in the Delmarva region too and the Chesapeake. So boating is going to be a little bit difficult to navigate through in parts of the region. We saw pictures yesterday of the Cape May Ferry having a difficult time navigating through some of the ice flow and jams which are occurring across the Delmarva region, the Delaware River, and parts of coastal and central southern New Jersey too, as the ice is continuing to build up in these regions along the outer edges. For the aviational weather deck this morning, we have basically VFR conditions out of Newark, temperature 25, visibility 10, the wind is out of the southwest at 8, broken ceilings at 12,000, overcast at 17,000, so it's cloudy there. Temperatures once again at 25 degrees, and we're expecting overcast conditions for this morning and early afternoon hours, a few scattered clouds in the lower layers at 6,000 feet during this afternoon as well. Winds basically out of the west to southwest at 10 knots, and the weak front coming through late tonight washes out. Winds turn around to the northwest at about 5 knots or less. Overcast conditions at 1500. Tomorrow morning, early after midnight, overcast conditions as well. Variable winds. Visibility is better than 6 miles. And by later tomorrow morning, just after dawn, winds return to the southeast at about 5 knots. Scattered clouds at 1500, broken at 25,000. Basically VFR conditions. For Philadelphia, 24 degrees this morning. Visibility 10 miles of broken ceilings at 11,000. Overcast at 15,000. For today, some broken clouds at about 20,000. Again, scattered to broken clouds throughout the afternoon and evening hours today, with a west to variable wind at 6 to 10 knots. Visibilities better than 6 to 10 knots, 6 to 10 miles rather. Broken ceilings at 20,000 overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning too, with generally VFR conditions expected throughout the terminals. Surface analysis from weatherroanoke.com. A digital atmosphere software shows the high pressure ridge now back down through the southeastern United States after a couple of rough days here across the coastal regions all the way down through Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. These areas here received quite a bit of ice and snow. Even though it was on the light side, it cost billions of dollars in damage, as it just didn't have the snow removal systems, and the DOT departments couldn't really keep up with the treacherous conditions that were unfolding there just a couple of days ago. Meanwhile, to the north of this, we have a return west flow across the region, west to southwest flow. We have a frontal boundary here entering the Great Lakes into the Ohio River Valley. This cold front will be moving through the region, kind of washing out as it does so by tomorrow morning with a wind shift. And the front is going to kind of stall out through the region. We're going to have waves of low pressure now setting up from southwest to northeast, more westerly to east as we go through time here. And this is the first weekend and also big Super Bowl weekend, Super Bowl 48 in the New Jersey, New York City area. And we also have Groundhog's Day on Sunday as well. And we've got a very complicated forecast once we get past Sunday night right through next week. And this is going to be an active pattern going forward from Sunday night right through early next week. And we've got a very active jet stream structure here, a very active subtropical jet stream now, which has developed south and west of the Hawaiian Islands here, pumping in moisture into southeastern Mexico, northwestern Mexico rather, into the middle portion of the United States. Meanwhile, we have the upper level low traffic cop, so to speak, south of the Aleutian Islands. And in the northern stream, in the polar jet, we have disturbances coming down now through Canada into the United States. Now, what's going to happen here is we're going to have disturbances here in the Four Corners region and disturbances driving south through the polar jet. And it's going to make for one tricky forecast across the central and eastern United States as we go through the next week. This is our upper level pattern, 500 millibar, 18,000 feet mean forecast going forward in the height field anomalies through next week. We can see the European, the GFS, and the CMC model here, all showing the same kind of thing. Now, you might think to yourself, this looks a little bit zonal in nature, but we have a relocation. The stratospheric warming event has pushed over into the Pacific now and into portions of Europe, and as a result of that, the polar vortex has shifted a little bit further east as well. There's still a secondary lobe or a split in the polar jet or the polar vortex as we can see, which is showing up on all of the models here, the CMC, the GFS, and the European. What's interesting here is that we have a very active and split flow pattern, very active subtropical jet stream now, and polar disturbances as well. So this is going to mean mergers of Miller A storm systems and Miller B storm systems as systems ride through the central plains and dive down through the upper Midwest into the Northeast. Some of these will begin to feel the brunt of the blocking that's developed to our north and east now in eastern Canada and into the western Atlantic, and then redevelop off the Virginia Capes and the Carolinas. And we've got several of these storm systems which are showing up in the modeling now across the region Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday of next week. Today we're going to use the Canadian and the European model guidance. The GFS is showing very lack of continuity in its precipitation shields, and the NAM model not so good this morning. So we're going to use the Canadian and the European as a backdrop here. As we go through the forecast period, this precipitation type over the next 48 hours or so, we have a disturbance off the mid-Atlantic coast and out over the ocean that'll stay out to sea. High pressure basically in control, but a lot more cloud cover scattered about the region today and tonight. A warm front will be passing through the region tomorrow morning, and then a cold front will be approaching, as we mentioned, through the Great Lakes with some showers across the region as temperatures warm under a southwesterly flow. Across the region, we could get some light rain around here tomorrow night, early Sunday morning. That begins to scoot out, and the cold front begins to come closer to the region, passing through on Sunday afternoon. Now, this is important because we can have some light scattered rain showers across the region as the front moves through near game time, and then those showers should be out of here when the game begins. And the game is forecasted at 6:30 in the evening, and temperatures should be falling through the 30s at game time. Meanwhile, the front will stall out, and even the Canadian model is showing a wave of low pressure developing on it now, and this would move the precipitation shield with colder air moving into the region, with light snow spreading across the south and central areas of the southern New Jersey coast. The Delmarva region could be light snow across this region, Philadelphia too, on a Monday morning, Monday afternoon as well. And right now this model is showing basically a cutoff from New York City south and east, where it's just lighter snow and light snow showers across the north, 78, 80 to 87, and anything south of 78 and to the Turnpike snow. Now, the European model is bringing this a little bit further north and bringing snowfall accumulations into the advisory levels areas north of 78, 80, and 287 on Monday morning, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Meanwhile, as this feature moves off with weak wave of low pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast states, high pressure then comes in to the region for later Monday night into early Tuesday with generally dry weather. And then we have a system that we're watching across the middle Mississippi Valley and Tennessee River Valley, and that's going to spread precipitation up in our region as we get to the forecast period beginning later Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. The precipitation could really begin to ramp up, starting out as a mix of snow and sleet, and then going all over to snow. Could remain snow on Wednesday morning, depending on how much cold air is left here. We see a cold air signature damming here across the Pennsylvania region into the Delmarva region. It's just a matter of this low here transferring its energy to a low off the mid-Atlantic coast in the Delmarva Peninsula. If this occurs faster and a little bit further south, we could be talking more snow here on Wednesday further north and throughout the entire region actually. If this is a little bit further to the north and the transfer of the low is a little later, then mixed precipitation would be in the offing from the city and the coast south through the Delmarva region, with snow and rain and an icy condition across 287 west, 78 north, and right along Route 80. Start things out with the Canadian model guidance going forward here. High pressure across the region. Here's our weak inverted coastal weak wave of low pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast states that stays away and out over the ocean today. Basically, high pressure is in control, a warm front moving through the region, and then a cold front moving through the region with a weak wave of low pressure here passing through the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes region, the St. Lawrence River Valley area during the day. On Saturday, this cold front will be approaching the region. We could have an onshore flow, a few more rain showers around the region Saturday afternoon and evening. As this low lifts towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, it'll drag a cold front through the region during the day on Sunday, passing through the region with a few light rain showers across the region, nothing widespread. And then that cold front moves off the coast, and high pressure gains control for Sunday night and early Monday and Monday night. Now, that is the beginning story, but this is another area of interest as the front begins to stall and a wave of low pressure develops on it. Now, the Canadian model and to somewhat extent basically the European model also has the same kind of thing. Snow breaks out here across the Delmarva region early on Monday morning, very late Sunday night, early Monday morning, and snow spreads across the entire region, basically just shut off from northwestern New Jersey on Monday morning into Monday afternoon. Now, this scenario could unfold a little bit further north, as we mentioned, with snow breaking out further to the north and west on Monday morning. We're pretty confident, though, that we're going to probably see some snow here on Monday. Could be in the advisory level criteria, and that could mean some travel problems or commuting problems, especially Monday morning and Monday afternoon's commute. As that low weak moves off the coast, high pressure then gains control of our region. Cold air damming signature sets up. Temperatures fall below average again from Tuesday night through Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And here's our next system coming in from off of the subtropical jet and an interaction between a polar jet here. We have warm air advection and isentropic lift as this wave of low pressure then gets going through the Ohio River Valley. Now, there's a block here in the upper levels of the atmosphere and at the surface, so the high is not going to, this is not going to go directly into the St. Lawrence River Valley. What's most likely going to happen here is what we call a Miller B transport, where we find a tight pressure gradient here along the coast and a much colder pressure temperature gradient here across the inland sections. We can see this by the bagginess and the invertedness of the trough axis here on Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. It's likely that the low is going to pull one of these transfers to off the coast. Just where the transfer occurs and when it occurs and how strong the transfer is will make the determination between how much snow falls on Wednesday versus ice and rain in this scenario. This is last night's run of the Canadian model, and it shows a mixture of snow and then going over to rain Wednesday afternoon as this system unfolds. And then high pressure gains into control of the forecast region for the mid and later part of the week. And the model, again, by next Saturday goes even more bonkers with high pressure over the top of us, a cold Arctic high pressure in control. Isentropic lift once again beginning. Gets gets going. This is the latest European model guidance snow forecast through Monday morning. As we get through Monday morning into the Monday afternoon period, you can see that the European model guidance wants to place a stronger surface low here off the mid-Atlantic coast with a weak wave here and produce snow amounts anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 6 inches across the swath from New York City or just west of New York City through 78, 80, 287 back through central Pennsylvania. And as we get through the forecast period, then as we go through the time period of Wednesday and Thursday, this is a cumulative amount of snow totals across the region. We're going to find more snow on Wednesday across this region too. As we get into the forecast period later in the weekend, again, more heavy snow. This is a total of the snow. This is not snow from each storm system. This is a storm total up through the next 240 hours. This one is a better representation. This is the European model guidance's snowfall totals here anticipated or expected for Monday morning and Monday afternoon. Now, as we get into the forecast period by Wednesday, we find snow totals here, higher amounts in northwestern New Jersey and into southeastern New York, lesser amounts. There's still advisory criteria, 5, 6 inches of snow here across a large portion of the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area. And finally, as we get into next weekend, by the time we get to 240 hours or even less than that by next Saturday, again, building up snowpack across the region. Could be another significant snow and ice maker across the region by next weekend as well. So it's going to be a busy forecast once we get past Sunday night. Super Bowl 48, Groundhog's Day also in the morning. We'll see what the prognosticators of the ground tell us, the groundhog, whether it's going to be an early spring or not. I don't think so. But, well, we'll see. Anyway, next week is going to be a very interesting period with multiple storm systems impacting the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area, possibly beginning as early as late Sunday night, early Monday morning across New Jersey and New York and the Delmarva, then again on Wednesday, and then again next Saturday as well. Of course, we'll be back bright and early in video form on Monday morning, perhaps even Sunday evening with definitive discussions as we watch and monitor the storm system for Monday morning, and then again for the week ahead as well. You enjoy the last day of January 2014, and we hope it's a good one for you. We'll be back bright and early on Monday morning in video form, and of course all the latest updates continuously on Garden State Weather and gardenstateweather.blogspot.com. Twitter, Facebook, and live feeds also available on the website. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You have a great weekend. Happy Super Bowl. May your team win. And also, we'll be back bright and early on Monday. So just make it a great weekend.